Welcome to Tech Topics. My name is Jason, and today we're going to talk about virtual machine networking in the Acropolis hypervisor. We've introduced a new feature called VLAN Trunking, but before we go into the details of that, let's talk about how access mode works for virtual machine networking. So in our Acropolis hypervisor, we have an Open vSwitch Bridge 0. This Open vSwitch Bridge 0 allows us to connect to a regular switch. So this switch is going to be trunking many VLANs up to the Acropolis hypervisor. So in this diagram right now, we have just a single connection and a single VLAN trunked up to the hypervisor and connected to the Bridge 0. So we would have a virtual machine connected to the Bridge 0 as well. So in this sort of environment, we would have a VLAN tag coming from the switch. Let's call this tag 100. The Bridge 0 in the OVS switch is going to take off this VLAN tag 100 and pass it untagged up to the virtual machine. When a virtual network is created and connected to a virtual machine, the access mode is the default mode. Untagged packets are passed to the virtual machine, and there's one virtual network assigned to that virtual NIC. In this case, VLAN 100 would be passed up untagged to the virtual machine. If we wanted to add an additional network, let's say we have VLAN tag 200, we would have to create a new virtual NIC inside the virtual machine. So now we're passing up two untagged networks, network 100 and network 200, and there are two virtual NICs inside of the virtual machine that deal with this traffic. The default configuration is called access mode. Starting in Acropolis Hypervisor 4.6, we've added a new feature called VLAN Trunking for virtual machine networking. In a VLAN trunked mode, we have our Acropolis hypervisor and an Open vSwitch Bridge 0. This is connected to a switch. And we have still our tag 100 packets and another network of tag 200 packets. And these networks go up to the virtual machine, but we have a VM created with a port type of trunk. So with a trunk port type, you select the native VLAN, and in this case, the native VLAN is going to be 100. There's going to be no tag on this VLAN. So this will be just simple untagged traffic passed up on the native VLAN 100. So as far as the virtual machine is concerned, there's no VLAN tag on this packet. We've added a trunked VLAN to this NIC though, and this NIC does get tag 200 traffic sent up to it. So from the switch through the OVS, traffic will be sent on VLAN 200 with a VLAN tag. The virtual machine can also send traffic and put the VLAN 200 tag on the packet, and the Open vSwitch will recognize it. This is really useful in scenarios when we have a virtual machine running an application that might want to have multiple networks, but only a single network adapter. Some instances of this could be things like virtual firewalls. So as we can see, compared to the access environment, we have to have two virtual NICs. In the trunked environment, we have one virtual NIC, and it can have multiple networks. So let's see what that looks like when we have more than just one network. So we'll create another virtual machine. we're going to say that 100, no tag, so that's our native VLAN. And we might have multiple VLANs such as 200, and we could even have VLAN 300 trunked up to the machine as well. These would all be on a single NIC. The VLAN trunking feature allows us a lot more flexibility in bringing virtual networks up to a virtual machine. We can still use the access mode of networking, where individual VLANs are sent untagged to separate network adapters, or we can use the trunk mode, where we have one native VLAN sent without a tag, and potentially multiple networks sent tagged up to the virtual machine. For more information on configuring trunked VLANs up to a virtual machine, check out the Acropolis Hypervisor Administration Guide. Thank you for watching Tech Topics.